Good evening, everybody. What's up? Well, I'm sharing this in the Discord. Oops. Excuse me. Got my other phone. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I gotta call my other phone, guys. We'll give everybody just a few minutes here, and we'll go ahead and get started as usual. Y'all ever lose something and it's right there? That just happened to me. Alrighty. Let's bring this in. Yeah, I know. Already live. Oh, wow. Apparently I need a metal clamp. Good evening. What's up? Your dad is calling me.
Guys, I'm trying Mexican pizza.
Alrighty, there we go. What's up? What's up, Mike, Robert, Biker, Chris? Yeah, definitely feeling way better. I appreciate that. Not feeling super great previous to this. So, all right, but much needed rest was taken. So I broke my phone stand. Sheer strength. All right. What's up? Good evening, everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully, you guys had a good trading day. I know I saw a couple of pretty good winners here. 30 hitting you hard already. I know I turned 30, and about 2 days later, I got an ulcer. So everything is as it should be. Everything is the way it should be, I guess, when you turn 30. So Tesla, any requests will be taken on YouTube. So all right. So first off, all major ETFs closed green. We had the S&P up 0.95%, NASDAQ 1.51%, the Russell 1.95%, and the Dow 1.60%. 9 out of 11 sectors closed green, led by consumer discretionary 2.82%, energy 2.07%, as Rolly has predicted multiple times. The communications was up 1.34%. Twitter gained 3.9% at the close and another 4.7 after hours at news that Elon has increased his bid to take over the platform. The offer now stands at $33.5 billion. Meanwhile, we saw earnings moves from Nvidia, which was down 7%, and as predicted, first of all, the price target or the hold was absolutely exactly, and I would say that today, analysis wise, even from the pop and then the chop, we were really accurate. And this earnings play, we took a Nvidia call. We let it run up. We let it soak up some of that IV. But right here, you guys can see I have copied and pasted. Thank you guys if you're leaving likes on TikTok. I appreciate it. I have copied and pasted the options that adhere, obviously. This week's puts, oops, zoom in there. So this week, as you guys can see, the IO, which is marked right here, incredibly high. Most of these strike prices were loaded to the gills with people. And if you look at the cost of these contracts, that's not a little bit of money. That's a lot of money sitting at these 160 strikes and all that stuff. So they crushed IV, and that is exactly what you just saw. Earnings stayed in range, and most likely all puts will be crushed as well as calls. Um, good thing to look out for in the future. So investors appear pleased for now with the Fed minutes. Federal Reserve meeting minutes were members voted unanimously to hike rates by 0.50% are out. Investors were reading today released closely, hoping to ease their concerns that the Federal Reserve is behind the curve on inflation and unable to orchestrate a soft landing for the economy. The Federal Reserve members indicated that the job market remained strong despite economic activity slipping into the negative territory. This is one of those house burning, everything is fine situations during the first quarter. Meanwhile, they remained hyper focused on bringing down inflation, which sits at a near 40-year high. The minutes reiterated the Fed's 2% target and noted that inflation remains elevated, reflecting supply and demand imbalances related to the pandemic and higher energy prices and broader prices abroad. Excuse me. So the committee agreed that the additional 50 BP hikes are ahead for the next few meetings. However, the minutes are noted a restrictive stance on policy may become appropriate depending on the evolving economic outlook. So just to wrap that up, basically it was a dumpster fire as far as like giving out a clarity. And while investors may have seemed pleased, I didn't really see today's reaction as a sign of strength at all. So, and we'll talk more about that here shortly. So, puts or calls? Both. I don't know. Do what you want. I'll get to that in a minute. So that's pretty much it. As far as the news is concerned. And then going into tomorrow, just want to give you guys a brief update. This week, on the 26th, as far as economic data, we got initial claims, continuing claims, GDP, deflator GDP, second estimate, pending home sales, EAI, gas inventories. This is brought to you by briefing.com. They are awesome. Make sure you check them out. And then as far as earnings are concerned, I will be watching like I was today. Nothing will change. I will be watching the earnings that will be coming for next week and this week. I am choosing carefully, and I think that I did a pretty good job today doing so. My calendar doesn't want to load right now, so whatever. We'll talk about it tomorrow morning. So anyway, as far as the watch list, and again, I don't dig into this too much at night. We'll talk about it in the morning, but we will be watching NVIDIA, of course. This one is at and did slam into support and after hours, but we will wait for these premiums to die down because that is exactly what you're going to be seeing is people running for the hills. And so do not expect an immediate move from NVIDIA immediately. You may see a touchdown to 152, maybe even 150, which was my price target. I was pretty close. But I think that this is an IV crushing move, and you may see a lot of chop in this range here in order to really stomp those premiums down. So I don't even gotta ask. I know you're playing Baba puts for ER. Starboy is looking for you. That's weird. Why is he looking for me? He got a crush. Yes, I will be playing Baba's earnings. Naturally, any Chinese stock as of late. Baba actually has a pretty interesting setup. It's not on the watch list as of tomorrow. I don't day trade Baba unless it has bad news or dumps, and neither one of those things are necessarily set up at the moment. So I am not gonna short China today. Probably shouldn't even talk about it. Thank you guys. If you guys are liking leaving a like here. My life savings and Tesla. Can you do Tesla charts, please? I will look at Tesla here shortly. Next one is Facebook. Really quickly, this one held what appears to be a bear flag. Still, you got a retest of 185 before, and that price to 185.50. Again, couldn't have been more accurate today. We didn't take a lot of positions. I didn't. I was busy, but I also just knew that the price action was likely going to be just like this. But this is great, and if you're failing to see that now, let me explain why. So during periods of consolidation, when everybody's trying to guess which way we are going to go, that is when these type of setups are built. And so we can watch for definitive breaks and moves to the downside or whatever happens after this. So we have a good period of consolidation here. I do expect some liquidity coming in towards the end of the week. Rollman discussed this today. I'm saying this as well. I see a dump coming into the next week. So I could be bearish short, and then maybe next week we see that rally that he was talking about with a lot of funds repositioning. So Best Buy is bullish. I don't have enough information to give you an accurate answer there. If you guys want, you are more than welcome to tune into YouTube. The link is in my bio, and that is where if you have questions, whatever they are, you can leave those there. But on TikTok, these comments move so fast, or they leave where I can't answer your comments. I want to answer your guys' questions, whatever they are, or if you want a chart done, that's where you're going to want to leave that request. And even if you want to hop back on TikTok, that's just going to help me help you. Help me help you, please. How am I feeling about NVIDIA? I feel like this is exactly what was going to happen. Zoom. So if you guys, I know a few of you swung Zoom with me. I was waiting for a good entry on Zoom. I ended up getting a really nice entry on Zoom while I was at the dentist, which is, I don't know what his opinion was of that, but I was like, hold on. But this one did pull back in after hours, as you can see right here. It did kind of scoop up what looks like an after hours bear flag. We'll see if we get the gap down. The target tomorrow is likely going to be around 96.50 to 97 bucks. So a decent swing trade coming into this reversal. I'm looking for this basically right around here, this 98 bucks. So 98 bucks will be the first place that we watch for a bounce, likely a place to trim if you did take more than one contract. So I have looked at the shrimp chart before, man, and I don't know, man. I'll look at it, just because I care, but we'll look at it. I'll just leave it at that. Can I do Ethereum? Maybe a few drinks, and I'm just kidding. Not right now. Doing mostly stock stuff, but if I have some time after, I would love to do that, but not at the moment. You got to put on top. I mean, depends. If your put's out of the money, you're gonna get burned because IV is so high, you're gonna lose value on that contract just because people are running for the hills. So that's just something to keep an eye out for. Really quickly, I just spotted this. So anyway, that's it pretty much for the watch list. Facebook, Nvidia, and Zoom. As you guys know, we're always watching Rivian. Rivian is still doing just fine, no worries. It is building up a bull flag, and I did talk about over $28. We'll grab $30 call and we'll play it wherever it decides to go. This is a head and shoulders retest as well, which is a reversal pattern, but it's also in that falling wedge where we got that 50% reversal, like we know statistically usually will happen. So we will watch and continue to watch to see if we get that meltdown towards the end of the week where we will likely have established this downtrend, and I could see Rivian down around 24.30. So SPY predictions for tomorrow. I think we don't. Or I think we might fade and pop and then dump on Friday. We have a long weekend coming ahead, and again repositioning into next week. A lot of feds are going to be moving a lot of money around. So Okay, so that's pretty much it for me. I will update you guys on my watch list as far as earnings are concerned. See if it'll load now. Okay, we're loading. Okay, so tomorrow we've got Dollar Tree, Costco, Baba, Baidu, Macy's, Ulta Beauty, yeah, Ulta, Workday, Dollar General, Gap, Scalar, Zscaler, 23andMe, shorted. Sorry. I can't, I forget that's a company. Um, you the man. Thank you. So I will be watching Chinese stocks, and I just want to offer this warning right now. What I do with Chinese stocks is not for you to do. Okay, if you like your account, this is where um, I'm probably going to take a hefty little earnings play with some expiration on it. So this is where sometimes I do show a bit of risk, and I do put some chips on the table. So this is just Trading View. Yeah, it's just Trading View's heat map. Just Google it; it'll pop right up. You'll love it. It's the best. I broke my phone stand. I got to order one on Amazon like immediately. All right, so that's pretty much it. All I want to do right now is take y'all's request. So if you're on TikTok, make sure to tap your screen, let your finger do a little seizure. And then if you're on YouTube, if you guys don't mind dropping a like as well, that does help the algorithm there. But you can drop those requests, $ all caps, if you want it to be seen. It's just easier for me to see if you do it that way. So, how do I get an order fill information for an option contract? And how accurate is the info to the current time? Is it like the info given is aftermarket, not during? How do I get order fill information for option? You have to use an option calculator. That's what you can do is you can, but it's still not. There's nothing until it's open. You have all sorts of different Greeks and as well as IV and open interest that are going to be affecting those contracts. Are you trying to get out of NVIDIA in the morning? I feel like that's what that question might be about. All right, so it seems like one of the first ones that we got on the watch, or at least for everybody, is Tesla. So let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla. Now, I already have a good idea long. So I talked about this today, and I want you guys to know that like when I give these price targets, it's not overnight, but we are not done dumping, and I'm willing to like put a stake in that. That's also some risk I'm willing to take. I see a retest, maybe a bleed up, but a bleed up is nothing more than a slow, painful retest before continuing to the downside. If we are, which we are, in a bear market, then more than likely we could see next week a strong run up. But as of today, and looking at the smaller, lower time frame, this is currently what we're looking at. So Tesla is running off of this down trend right here, lower time frame hourly. And what appears to have happened, okay, because what do we know about wedges? If you guys have been trading with me at all, you're well aware that wedges extend themselves oftentimes frustrating traders. One of the first things that you can expect is a possible channel, and that likely will happen around a supply test of 715 to 710. But as of right now, it appears to have what looks like a falling wedge, and I'm giving it I'm giving it more than really what it has volume for, because to be honest with you, the hourly reversal here on Tesla could just give you a simple retest of 740, but I would also pay close attention to where we open up tomorrow. If investors are pleased and we decide to rally into Thursday, then perhaps we just see a simple retest of 721. And so what I would do on Tesla if I was looking to trade it is I would mark out my entries and my stop losses depending on my contracts, right? Because that's when planning really does help, and having a plan going into that day. So first of all, you filled a gap, okay? So you had a little gap right here. That gap was filled today with today's absolutely terrible price action. Your whole ribbon indicator is flipping green, but we do not like flipping green, but it is flipped green. But it is not showing any strength. We do not have any volume, and this could very easily be lost. And so right now I'm looking at Tesla below 650 and then a drop to around 640. 640 would be that crucial level for me, in which I would probably expect Tesla to be at least back down in the 625s and maybe even perhaps falling back into this wedge. Um, that being said, if you do candle close hourly here up against this resistance, that's where you could anticipate for another leg up and move into the 700s. So I would be very careful about fake outs going into the rest of the week. Those are likely going to be driven by indecision, which I think we could see quite a bit of. And the one other thing that I noted here, and I did draw this right before market close, is the possibility of a rising wedge. So we could see a Tesla, and hear me out because this is oftentimes what you see before a dump. You could see Tesla pull back tomorrow morning and then do the V shape. That shit that people hate. So watch it around 650. It's 655. I would not dare take a position unless I saw a definitive candle close below that mark. Period. So all that being said, make sure that you're paying attention to volume. This is the volume that you would like to have. This is the volume that you would like to have. Anything consistent across the board, that's what you're looking for. So, what is Tesla's bottom target? You don't want to know. So, my long target for Tesla to the downside is 450. 450. I could see Tesla around 420. I truly believe that Tesla is likely, I don't know. I don't I don't want to put too much into it, but I would say that our first stopping point is very much so around 550. So right now, 550 would be my shorter term target, but ultimately, I think that we see a Tesla, and this is a megaphone pattern shit. I know that you guys don't take. I'm trying to like look at both. So this is a quintessential megaphone pattern. And normally, so how these will go is usually you'll find support for your third bounce, and then you'll have this crazy rip to the upside. Now, that's not always going to happen, and this is on a daily time frame. So there's no way to be certain. And really, realistically, at this point in time, it doesn't seem realistic to see Tesla moving back up there. But that could be all the way, I mean, into December, where we see that rally or something like that. But I doubt we see the socioeconomic landscape change in between now and then. So. They don't call Garrett Short King for nothing. Don't use my government name. Just kidding. If you're just starting in the Discord, or my Discord has a good amount of resources, especially books and definitions, all of the technical stuff. We've got flashcards that you can download and print out for chart patterns. So there's a decent amount of step-by-step process in there. I will be removing Robinhood and Webull from my suggested platforms for beginners and replacing it with a new one here. So I think that I actually found a brokerage that I would recommend to new traders. So, but I'll be putting a post out about that soon. So. All right. So that's Tesla. And of course, I'd like to see, how we play this out. Zoom was requested, and this one's requested due to the fact that I signaled puts. So let me just keep this super simple, okay? This is just a technical pattern, and due to the fact that we saw that initial move up, and historically speaking, after FOMC, especially like this, we do see a pullback. Now, Zoom has your technical pattern of the rising wedge, as you can see here. It completed the rising wedge at the bell, or right before the bell, where it basically reversed and pulled back. So you see that rising wedge extending itself And like I said before, so in my opinion, if you're looking at the hourly, anytime a stock rips and it leaves behind its major moving averages, such as the 9-day moving average, which is a bullish moving average because there's 9 days of data in in that moving average, therefore it's going to move closer to the price. That's lagging. All of these EMAs are lagging, and the 200-day moving average is currently at 97.22. So there's a bit of confluence there. And then in after hours, we did see a bit of a pullback, not completely, but this is just a technical setup based on the low volume push that we saw towards the end of the day. So while we did move up, I saw too much weakness to see continued upside tomorrow. So that's soon. All right, I'm gonna do shrimp, but yeah, all right. I immediately want to run. I want to run away right now. Natural Shrimp Incorporated. So when the daily candles look like barcodes, you know nobody's here. So that's number one. Nobody's here. Nobody's trading shrimp right now. I can't tell you why. I don't know why. But nobody's here. Um, I have a hard time even really giving analysis on this because I want you to see this up close. So if you guys ever see something that looks like that, or it looks like a barcode, right? That's electronically traded by robots because nobody else is trading it. So they just hot potato shares back and forth. Occasionally you'll get a major, liquidity, push where someone will take a big short position. You'll see these giant spikes in volume, but on a technical basis, man, again, it looks like you still need to see 1177.1177. So I'm not a big fan of giving analysis. So on these ones, was it dumb of me to hold this week expiring put contract on what? On what? On what? It depends on what you held it on. Because if you gap down, I mean, no, because the first if the first move is not in your favor, then your contracts are going to immediately get burned, right? And so that's going to be out of your hands, and you're just going to have to take what you can get. But if it does end up reversing and moving back down, and that's the initial move, then those contracts will be hot to buy, and you will see the IB give you a better opportunity to crush or get out. But Barrett doesn't like Weeble because he doesn't get filled a lot. That is accurate. I have a different brokerage that I'm going to be recommending. So, all right. Ulta Beauty is the next one right now. If you guys have a request on TikTok, please hop over to the YouTube channel. We'd also just really appreciate your subscribing to our channel. And go ahead and drop your request in the comment channel. That way I can see it and it doesn't get lost in the sauce. Because right now I see 3 comments on my screen. Those of you on TikTok, this is what we're dealing with right now. So um, that's you comments. You can only see a few of them. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, Ulta Beauty has earnings. So if this is a question on, and this is one thing that I just try not to do, is I try not to give too much analysis on stocks that have earnings. And the main reason, which is very clear, is that earnings are going to flip most of what I say on its head. So all I can do is speculate on where it may go. And from there, you can make plans if you want, or you could just maybe do it after earnings or something like that. But I believe that Ulta Beauty has broken its uptrend. So starting from its lows, just on a dynamic trend line, you see a ton of fight, and eventually Ulta Beauty has fallen and broken down. So while I could see a possible retest of around 375 for Ulta, and I will say I think there's been other companies in that same sector performing well. So I'm not going to say that it can't go and hit that 350 or even up into this gap at 390. But I would speculate that we're likely going to see a $300 Ulta Beauty, because that is the bottom of your demand zone. And if you're looking at these two yellow lines, we're going to split that right in half. That's where you can see we wicked off of. So the next leg down logically would be 300 bucks. So Cannonball, let me answer this question really quick. What's the name of your video with the best indicators for beginners? So I don't think I have one. I hope I don't. Or at least not one telling people that like these are the ones to go to, because if you're like, okay, so you're getting into the market, you know, you don't have a lot of time, you decide to swing trade, right? That's how you starting off. That video has no use, right? It's if the way that I'm applying these things is for day trading, then that's all I know how to explain it for. Um, and so that being said, I would say, um, um, I would say that like start with the basics, but explore, and don't be afraid to explore. Don't be afraid to ask about the indicators that you've found to see what other people think of it as well. Um, Oftentimes you will find that people have dug thoroughly through those indicators and have found holes. I mean, God, there is so, I mean, if you go look at, let's go see Apple, look at this. So things change, right? Some indicators that I used before I don't anymore. Let's go see what I was using. Let's see. Well, it's not letting me. But already I can see that I had the MACD, right? I don't use the MACD anymore. It's just not something that I use. I can't really see what else I had on there, but my indicators have changed. There's been certain elements of my trading just with time. I don't need to have that on my chart anymore. Sometimes you just know, or they're just not useful to you because you have solidified your strategy. So 90 moving average, VWAP, Bollinger Bands, um, volume, pivot points were all indicators that I used when I was beginning to trade. So, all right, let's keep it moving. Look at Facebook. All right, let's look at Facebook. So I see a period, and man, I wish I could tell you where this is going to happen. We could see a dump down to 169, 170, right? There's a gap to fill all the way to 175 that has just barely been touched. Let's zoom to the hourly. So this is where things get pretty clear for me. So this is our downtrend, starting from our highs and running that down. We know that we have to see through the noise, right? Seeing through the noise is knowing that, yeah, maybe at the end of the day, you're going to get people trying to, or it's going to look as if you're going to move to the upside, but in fact, the opposite happens, and that's a fake out to the 10th degree. So that being said, at the moment, Facebook is holding what I believe to be a bear flag. So if you're just imagining the red candle here, then just imagine what appears to be a bear flag. But that bear flag for me doesn't become valid until under 181.85 and 180 even. Candle close on the hourly, and I think that we would likely see a pullback to at least the 178 area, 175. But I think that at that point we would likely see a leg down. And then on the flip side of that, because we don't like to go into anything biased, if we do end up moving above today's highs, and that would be tomorrow, so 185.77, watch for Facebook to go and tap 188. And then I would say if you got the juice, maybe 190 for Facebook to the upside. Now, on the higher time frame, or the larger setup, grand scheme of things here, we either A, have a great amount of consolidation that's about to happen. So maybe we see a bleed up into the 216s and we go hit resistance. I have struggled on whether or not, and I'm starting to lean as this is a fake out, and I'm just basically ignoring it because if you go to the daily, most of these are either wicks or just complete closes. So looking at a possible consolidation fest if we do not just break down from here. So I have a price target on Facebook of $80, yes. But that's not saying that it can't do the opposite. So or that's not saying that that's going to happen immediately. So Facebook really quickly, hourly time frame, starting from the highs, running it down. Like I said before, this does appear to have an hourly falling wedge. So if this holds, watch for Facebook to potentially go and fill this gap and likely find itself around 199 and $200. Sup, daddy? What the hell? I really don't use the RSI for intraday reversals, Julio, so I can't give you the best advice on but I'd love to try and actually go on Twitter, the Trading Initiative or Connor or not Connor, the Trading Initiative on TikTok. He has a great breakdown on the RSI. So if you want to, I think he's a swing trader, but he may have explanations on something a little. It's just not useful to me, I guess through price action, I'm able to kind of, feel those things out. So, all right, let's keep it going. We want to take a look at Snap. All right, so anytime we're sitting in no man's land like we are right now, we want to go ahead and zoom out and start marking out some of these crucial and key levels across the board. So, boom, that's one. 1850, that's two. Damn, dude. $12. What? Absolutely bonkers. Sorry. I'm blown away right now. You guys want to see something cool? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this short report. None of my IDs are loading. That's lame. Never mind. I can't gloat. It's probably for the best. So Snapchat at the moment is currently sitting near the bottom of that support level. So as you can see right there, 1212, 1225, that is where we've bounced. So we are at the bottom right there. We have a double gap to the upside where we could see a fill at 1575. That is your nearest median. So if I drop so if we're looking at this channel or zone that we're in, I got messed up by GOVX. What happened? So I might sound stupid, and I'm new, but I can't for the life of me understand puts or calls. All right, let's make this really quick because these are the kind of questions that I enjoy answering, especially for new people. So look at it this way. All right, you buy Snapchat, you buy the dip right here. You bought it at 28.50. And it chops around. It's going up and down, nearly, goes back down to zero. But at the top, as it rides and you see those sell signals, let's say you decide as a hedge or a way to protect your investment, you're going to go with some longer expiration contracts or puts. Now, what this is going to do, a put is going to reserve your place. So let's say at 40, when it hit 40, I grabbed a $38 put. And I'm just making that up because I don't know what the strikes were at that point, but you could go with the 35 or 38, doesn't matter. It blew past it. So let's just say you had a $40 put. We'll just round it up. $40 put. Now you have 100 shares of Snapchat and you're a little bit worried about its, going into earnings. So you're protecting yourself by reserving your right to sell those shares at a predetermined price. So essentially, while Snapchat could dump down to 1250, you could utilize that option because now you have the option of utilizing that or exercising that contract in order to get out of that trade, not necessarily scotch free, but with less damage. And this is really useful to somebody who obviously has more liquidity, market makers, stuff like that. Um, but that's essentially what they're used for. And then the same thing to the call side. So if you um, decided, on the bull run, that Snapchat's likely going to blow past $25. And some people buy these contracts for those purposes to essentially reserve their right to buy at a predetermined price. So it's like a reservation to buy or sell. So hopefully that makes sense. Trying to keep the explanation simple. So. Okay, so you guys are gonna think I'm nuts, but I believe just based on math and looking at Snapchat that we are at support. So there is a if we do end up seeing upside, Rolly talked about possible repositioning. It's not something that I see as an outside like next week. I do think that we could see continuation to the upside, but looking at this from a mathematical or just looking at this pattern, mathematically this is perfect. And if we do bounce and hold, and I would say that 1530 is really going to be the place where you're 1530 and 1550. Above that, you could likely see retest in the high teens, $18, $19. So, how do I find a retest? By establishing levels. Okay, so by and again, not all the time does something retest immediately, and that's something that you want to pay attention to. You don't want to just ignore that. So for Snapchat, right? The level is 28.16. We get another bounce there. We get a bear flag here. Now, this isn't what I would consider a retest. Maybe one could consider it a retest. And the only reason that I would say that is because it's $30 that it's retesting, right? $30 is a psychological number. So I would go ahead and just call that a retest. I'm just going to go ahead and call it a retest because I think that's what it is. But when you break a support, this is a bad example now that I'm like kind of digging into it. Just simply because normally what you would want to see is you would want to see a breakdown, right? And then a pullback um, to retest that support. Now, ways to spot that is obviously marking out some of those critical levels or psychological levels that you would see a bounce at. And from there, it's read and react. And that's the only thing that I can tell you is that you have to pay attention to how those candles are behaving. You need to know what the difference is between a weak and strong candle, especially on time frames like the hourly, in order to spot possible reversals. And let me show you an example of that. So while here, Snapchat looks like it's going up decently, you even have a wick fill here, volume continues to dissipate. So let's zoom in even more. So as you guys can see right here, these candles are weak. I'm gonna highlight them really quick. Those candles are weak candles. Now, what makes them weak? Well, the body sizes are pretty small. You also have big wicks up. Now, that would have been pretty strong had you held, but look at the volume. Pay attention to the volume because that is critical in order to establish direction. So, as you're moving up, you would want people to buy into that. Instead, these candles get weaker and weaker, and easily this is faded back down, bear flag, gap down. So, all that being said, you have to just read and react. So Snapchat came up against a resistance, and as you approach think about it from a metaphorical perspective, right? If you're in front of a wall, a plywood wall or drywall wall, like, are you gonna like? Do you want to run a marathon before trying to bust through that, or do you want to and be exhausted? Or do you want to be like at full strength, or with good energy, and that's the only way that I can, metaphorically, I'm not going to go any deeper than that. But essentially, if you're running up to a wall, you don't want to run up weak. You want to run up strong so that way you can break through that wall. And so establishing what weak candles look like is important. And so if you were to move down on Snapchat and on that retest that I was just talking to you about, if that bounce it shows weakness, oftentimes, so you can even look at it here, right? This bear flag continues on for far too long. And right here, I think this is a definitive moment for Snapchat where you have a bear flag where, yes, there is no volume, but on support, you want to see more aggressive selling if it's going to continue to the downside, like you do here. And you even get a better bounce. But all that being said, right, even with this big short down, these are weak candles with no volume. No volume and establishing what weak and strong candles are look like on higher time frames, such as the 15 and the hourly, will give you a lot more peace of mind. And understanding that things have to be broken. I see a lot of people in the first 5 minutes of the day, and they're like, volume's high. And I'm like, zoom out because there's no way, sometimes obviously there's certain days where we're going to rock it off the belt, and that's totally understandable. But that's usually based. We can not necessarily predict that, but we feel that. You can feel that even in pre-market. Oftentimes just observing social media. So, um, but anyway, ew, gross. Ew. All right, so Roblox, the old faithful, more like old dumpy. I shouldn't say that on the internet. Okay, so number one, Roblox looks like it might be inside of a channel right now. That's 1 hour time frame. Let's go to the daily. Ooh, yep. All right. So, run it off the top, make it drop, pull it back here. And that's a little sketchy. I don't know about how I feel about that. Is that megaphone? No, that's not megaphone. So I would say, and I'm not, that this is the only time that I'm going to do this, everybody, but I want you to pay attention to why. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting this trend line. And as you can see, there's a lot more confluence in that. Now, I'm not trying to force something that's not there, but what I do understand is that that corrections are called corrections for a reason. They're correcting the setup, the pattern, the price. And so this is a correction caused by earnings. So I believe that right now Roblox is at support. Anywhere below $25, Roblox will likely move into the 22, 24s and probably into the teens. I don't think ever, and nor have I ever thought that Roblox was a good investment into VR, metaverse. It's just not. There's nothing there on paper that's really going is and meta unfortunately that's just not hot right now. Like it's a future investment for a lot of people and it's something that technology is continuing to work on. But let me say one more thing too. I would say that if we do get a bounce tomorrow or a rally up, that potentially this could be a bear flag. But there's a lot of pressure up here at the $35 range. So I would venture to guess with everything curling back down that, yeah, anywhere below 25, I think Roblox is good to go. SQ is next. Wait, didn't I do SQ? I think I did SQ. Did I? I don't know. There's good make money on making games on Roblox. That's dope. Yeah, I mean that's dope. That's awesome. And I mean like I'm sure the same can be said for Fortnite or something like that. But At the end of the day, Roblox reached an overvaluation because of sympathy, and that's it. That's the only reason that I believe it reached that far. So, oh, so Square, you can see resistance obviously up there. Head and shoulders, big dump. You just asked me what is a retest, right? There you go. That's a retest. Now, if it breaks back up to the upside, it's not a retest. It's likely gonna go and retest the real level at $80.75, anywhere above $80.75. Watch for Square to move into the 82.71 area, which is its point of control, where I would not likely day trade it past that until it got above and held 84.70. So trigger points for me would be below $75 for SQ. So yeah, I can chart SPY. Give me a second. Currently BA has an hourly falling wedge. This means nothing, especially if the stock has no volume or no follow through. That being said, here is support, and it looks like this is a bear flag, and it's likely going to be on the 5 or 15 minute, where I can see that opening bell. Yeah, so there we go. Hmm. Okay, so you have a wedge for BA. That would be bullish. So a wedge played out would look a bit like this, pull back down. This is a potential falling wedge, so you could even see 113.40. But if you do bounce here, then you could bounce right back out and hit that point of control 125. So thoughts on I can Ashley candles? I do not use them. I do think that they provide a sort of cleanliness, but I chucked those out of my realm of things that I used a long time ago. But to each their own, because there's no right or wrong in this situation. So tired out of nowhere. All right, all right. We're gonna do a few more here before I pass out. Okay, so for some reason it's not letting me move the chart. There we go. So downtrend, here's Apple, 1, 2, 3. You are up against resistance, unfilled gap at 142.34. Um, just like Facebook, it holds pretty much the same setup as Facebook does. Um, there you go. So Apple would need to break down below 138. And really, I mean, truly, you would need to see a definitive break before 138.55. I think I said 138 up there, but that would actually be 139. But 138 down below, that's a key level. And then from there, I mean, honestly, I would see Apple around 136.60 if you do pull back from here. If you do not, and you do end up bouncing out, then the rest of that gap at 142.24. I would say 144 is above that. 144.20. Do I focus on pre-market? So I'm looking at overall setups, and then in pre-market, I'm looking to see how price action adhere to those. And then that will kind of determine my entries and exits. So, damn. When should you choose option trading? When it's right for you. I do not have any opinion on how ARK moves, but I'm not really bullish on ARK. I think that's another waiter. Um, that's a spicy meatball. So GameStop has been on the on the dumper here for quite some time. I would say watch it at 132.25 tomorrow. If you reject 132, period, you're probably in danger of starting a serious move down to the 60s. So, all right. If you guys want to, you can join me in the morning. I, for some reason, just got hit with the hugest wave of sleepy. I'm about to, my eyes are bleeding, but I will be up tomorrow morning in the Discord around 8:25. I'll go live on TikTok too as well. Answer any questions, take any request, and chart whatever you guys are looking at tonight. I just went ahead and saved the request from the YouTube channel. And what I'll do is if I get time tomorrow morning or tonight, I will chart those and post them. So. But anyway, thank you all. Are we done or close to being done with the market downtrend? Don't think so, no. Thanks, dude. You explained stuff awesomely. Thank you. That's that's good. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Um, well, hopefully, why don't you answer on Twitter? How you feeling? Oh, I feel better. I don't answer on Twitter because it seems more mysterious. No, I just have so many social medias that it's kind of hard to keep up, my guy. But I appreciate your concern. I really do. I feel way better. I also know better now that eating peppers that are hotter than habaneros, fresh, um, in a salsa that you don't deserve or should be eating, um, and then drinking alcohol on an empty stomach is not good for 30-year-olds. So I didn't get the book, on being 30. So just now catching up. But thank you everybody for tuning in. If you guys don't mind, before you leave, smash the like button, punch it. But I do appreciate your watch time. So anyway, tomorrow morning, I'll see you guys bright and early, 8:45 on YouTube and TikTok. And then as early as possible, always on Discord. I will alert you if I can or if I am up early. So um, anyway, good night. Peace. Can I